You're on.
Monday, January 8th, I'd like to call the Selectmen's meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any public input? No. We have no minutes. Why don't we bring up our Parks and Rec Director, Dennis, to give us his monthly update.
I was telling Cammy, the girl that we're hiring for assistant director is coming in tomorrow, so if you want, I can talk to her about maybe doing what we had Rebecca doing.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Initially, so we'll see about that. Parks and Rec Commission tomorrow. Yep.
I'll be there.
So, just a quick update, I only got 10 minutes on the schedule there.
Do you want more?
Well, you've got more because we started early, Dennis. Go ahead.
Alright, yeah. Santa photo op was again a big success. Tons of people. We had decorate your cookie and coloring contest, and the Santa that Jen has provided is awesome. All kinds of concessions and stuff. Dodgeball for grades 4 through 6 ended last Tuesday. We had trophies and ribbons for the winners. Men's basketball is ending January 23rd. I'm happy about it, but I'm not. 20-something guys are showing up, but I think probably 16 or 17 are from Ossipee. So, anyway, they've done the 23rd. Adult dodgeball is going to start on January 30th, which I don't know what I took that on for, but anyway, we're doing a shot. Winter cornhole will start the second week in February. That's both at the Central School gym. Punt, pass, and kick, we've got 5 people going to Las Vegas. 2 in the same family, one's from Maine. So I'm gonna bring it up. Eileen Gill, our chairman, asked me that, you know, past years for the selectmen voted to send help them with the travel expenses, so I'm gonna bring it up to you guys again. Again, there's 5 of them, 2 are from the same family. One is the defending national champ 2 years ago. Like I said, one is from Maine, so we don't have to deal with him, but anyway, I'm bringing it up to you guys.
And do you have a number in mind?
Well, I think the last couple of years we gave me 500, and I think it was 3 that went to Dallas and 3 that went to Tampa Bay. And like I said, this is at the Mojave High School in Las Vegas. So, to be honest with you, this is our last year punt, pass, and kick. The organization has really, to me, been going downhill. And I mean, this year they made you buy your own equipment, buy your own awards, wanted you to go out and get sponsors for them. So it's up to you, man. I mean, I don't care either way, to be honest with you. I think they're going to go regardless. These families, they've already got their reservations, so it's what you guys want to do.
Well, somewhere in this budget, we should have
Yeah, there is, I think, money,
gifts and donations.
or youth assistance.
Yep,
Money.
youth assistance possibly?
Well, the
No.
youth assistance line now,
No,
because we
you already paid.
paid the bill.
But that's,
That's 2023.
23, we're looking at 2024.
Well, that's right, we are. We are in 2024.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that budget hasn't been approved yet, has it? Has it? Yes, it has, it was one of the early ones. Yeah, see what that total is there.
8488 on youth assistance, but I don't think we want to spend 8 grand on this deal.
No,
Well, it'd be 1,500, well, it'd be 3 families.
three families. I'm gonna make a motion that we award each family $500 from the youth assistance line.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on that?
Well,
Here,
hold on.
Chance of a lifetime for these kids. They may not
Oh,
get
it
it.
is, no, I fully support it, I'm just concerned about where the money's coming from, that's all. So the youth assistance and the town of Wolfboro lines, those are our combined lines that we split up last year. And we don't know what's gonna happen after Audrey has her meeting with the,
Audrey has had her meeting.
you have had your meeting?
She'll update us on that when it comes time.
That may have an influence on how I vote. Because this 84, 88, and 81, 73, if it's status quo, if we keep doing what we've been doing, that money is spoken for.
On that line, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But don't forget that we're $6,154 in the black for 2023, so one would assume that we'll probably have some money left over in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
That's my line of thinking as well.
And that still leaves, I mean, if, if we combine those lines again next year, it still leaves, what, 15,000? Round figures. And what do we pay Wolfboro this year, 16?
16, so.
Plus,
16 and change.
all right, the motion was made and seconded. Bob has expressed his concerns. I'm gonna call for a vote if there's nothing more to be said. All those in favor? Aye. It carries unanimously. Tell the kids good luck.
Yeah, I will, yeah.
Let us know what's happening.
And then we get 50% of any sponsorship money.
Right.
there is.
Absolutely.
If they gamble it away, too bad. But if they win big,
Yeah,
I can't bring it home.
yeah. Next, scheduled paint class is, February 12th, I gotta put that on the calendar. I looked and it was open, Kim, but I didn't write it in there on the townhouse thing.
If it's open, write it on.
Okay, yeah. Concerts, we got 6 out of the 8 contracts back. The other 2 were fine. I did lose one group and we picked up another group. So we were set with that. I just gotta get letters ready to go out for the sponsorships, for the concerts. Like I said, there'll be no concert on Thursday, July 4th. We're having a commissioner cookout, which people are certainly invited on February 3rd, same day as Pump Pass and Kick. We'll have a live feed. No, we won't. But at that point, we're gonna try and introduce our new assistant director. We're gonna have food for him, and then all the members there. We got staff shifts up in my Parks and Rec, so they'll get there that day. So you guys are certainly invited. It's 5 o'clock at the townhouse on the 3rd.
February 3rd.
Yeah.
Is that gonna replace a regular monthly meeting?
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about that tomorrow night. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, like I said, they'll meet the assistant director, Ashley Esposito, and again, she's coming in tomorrow to talk about stuff, so.
February 3rd, that's a Saturday.
Yeah. All right, I got a big issue here. I got I guess you call it what do you call them when 3 people on the same line? The party line, phone call from Joyce and our designer, Andrew. And they're coming to me looking really for money for the designer. He wanted to schedule the guy's flight up. I said, just hold on. They said, well, you're the director. We got money in the reserve, revolving fund. And it's basically $12,000 is the next step. And again, this is gonna be the cover of the Tuftonville Times coming out. It's gonna highlight the Central Park. So I said, I'm gonna bring it up to Selectmen. That's how it works. I know before I tried to transfer money, and they said no, so I'm putting it out on you guys. The basic first check is actually $62.50 with the balance going when the design is done of the $12,000 designer fee. So again, I can't okay a check and tell Jack to write a check from our revolving fund until I talk to you people.
So what do you have in the revolving fund?
Probably around 18.
18 grand.
The 5 we just got from the group out in San Diego.
So you're putting the donation money into your revolving fund as you get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, aren't we doing a warrant article for, design?
I don't think it
I
was
don't
on the
think-
list,
No, and I don't think we need to.
no.
If he's gonna take the design out of the revolving fund, we don't have to have a warrant article to spend money out of that fund,
No,
so
no.
that would be all right.
And
We
then
need
they
a
can
warrant,
bring their design forward in 24
right?
and get it built. And you're, so this is not the same guy that designed the bike path or the mountain?
That's the builder, Andrew's the builder, this guy, I guess the next step, I mean, going through this whole process is new to me, and, again, when they had the party call the other day, I said, look, I'm on your side, I want this. But I just can't say, yeah, we're gonna write the $200 check.
Who's laying out the parameters?
Parameters as in the,
What-
where this thing
what-
goes.
Design of what?
Uh-huh.
You know, I know there's been lots of different things talked
Yeah.
about,
I mean, I don't know if you saw this with the 3 basic squares,
yeah,
with the
I haven't
skills,
seen that.
yeah, with the skills park,
yeah.
dog park, kind of a playground area, that type of thing. So, I mean, this is the next step, it's still $125,000 afterwards. Wherever we get that, I don't know, whether a mailing goes out, whether this helps, whatever, but,
Yeah, you keep raising money from your fundraising and then
yeah.
we end up with a warrant article, some amount of money.
Right, but we don't need a warrant article to authorize the
No, but it
$12,000.
would be nice to have some control over the scope of the design. You know, there was talk about a separate entrance, that kind of thing, and I don't see that happening.
No, that's not happening.
Because we have to buy land for that.
No, there was a safety factor with kids trying to get from the school there, and that's kind of a bad corner going around there.
I don't know how we survived it all these years when we were kids.
You'd have those idiots running those big trucks with RAM on the top of them.
That money that you have in the revolving account, it was all donated on the premise that this was going to be a bike trail,
Correct.
the old design.
Yeah, I know where you're going, yeah.
That's,
And I've tried to compile a list of the major donors, whether it be the $1,000, $500, $250.
mhm.
This guy here has been donating for the last year and a half, for God's sakes. So, I do have a list of those people, if we need to call them and say, listen, the scope has changed a little bit, it's gonna be more towards a multi, type, service park, so.
That's the only, that's the
So-
only concern that I have.
When are the designers planning on doing this thing? And when do you need the money?
Well, I think it's pretty soon, like I said, when he talked to me, he was gonna book the flight up for the design, I said, hold on, don't book any flights until, I said, I'm with the selectmen Monday night, so,
Snow's not gonna affect any of this.
I don't know.
I don't either, that's,
And you're gonna meet, when's the next time the
tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night?
tomorrow night? I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to voting on allowing Dennis to tap the revolving fund to pay for the plan, but I think we need to look at the plan before he spends the money. Or at least have some idea of what is going into this.
Well, I think we got a chicken and egg situation here. The guy doesn't wanna do it if he doesn't get some money.
No, if they're gonna meet tomorrow night, we could look at this at our next meeting, on the 23rd.
What happens if we, get this design, we present it to the voters, and it fails, and we gotta give the money back to the donator, the
Yeah.
people that donated?
I don't know, I mean, what happened to the museum there when they got all that money donated, right? Did they have to give it back?
A lot of it they did, but they just asked the people,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people.
I mean, if that's the case, we could, obviously, there were a few people that came up with $1,000,
But that goes to what the design encompasses. I mean, if you present a $500,000 design, then you're just confusing yourself, because it's never gonna go through the town meeting. But if it's, he's raised, how much money have you raised? $18,000, and you could probably raise with a
Well,
plan.
it looks like you could actually have a $500,000 design, or I should say that for the project, but it looks like it could be phased, so you may have a full design, but it could be broken into phases and presented year after year, or every couple of years as phases. The problem comes, as I'm thinking, is the guy doesn't wanna start without half the money. And when he's done designing, he wants all the money. Well, if we do
Right.
that,
And I don't have a problem with that, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
it's all right.
And I understand that part of it,
Right.
but what's he being told to do?
Yes.
That's why I have no clarity.
Until I see a design, I don't really know the exact, what's gonna happen.
No, but
He
it
doesn't know either
Well,
because he
I
hasn't been
mean-
to the property yet.
You haven't really looked at this yet, right? This,
doesn't come out yet, does it?
well, it's been, there was an article in the paper, this is coming
Yeah.
out, I think, next week.
We had a public hearing.
Yeah. So, I mean, that kind of explains a lot of it. I mean, around the skills park itself, there's gonna be a walking, they call it the senior mile. It's actually a quarter of a mile, but it's, you know, a lot of seniors can't hike through the woods. There'd be a nice area, it's not paved, but it's something like they talked about, that
It's
other
got
stuff.
stations along the way.
And there's benches and lights, and it's where seniors can sit and, where they walk a quarter of a mile or a mile or whatever. So, I mean, that's part of it. Like I said, the dog park is part of it, the playground is part of it. So, I mean, a lot of that stuff was brought up, like you say, at the public hearing. A lot of questions, there were a lot of people there that, you know, you didn't know. And I'm sure they're looking at the, you know, just like Abenaki looking at the tax rate and everything else, right? But,
Well, always, yeah, it's always a concern.
yeah.
But this doesn't require a warrant article, so.
So is the thought that we're just gonna get presented a plan? I mean, I don't know, it's either a list of things that we want in the plan, or it's just we wait and see what the plan looks like.
I think the way that this is gonna go down is we're gonna see what the plan looks like once it's been developed. I mean, Dennis and Parks and Rec, are pretty much driving the bus as far as what this design's gonna be.
Right.
So I think that if we authorize the money, they're gonna come up with a plan. I don't know how detailed this plan is gonna be and how much it's gonna incorporate. Is it just gonna be start just to get the thing going, or is it gonna be a full
Again,
design?
I'm new at this, you know, I know the bill was like 12 grand, he wants
Who's
62.
he giving the bill to? I mean, who are they talking to about this $12,000? They're talking to you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, what's the $12,000, what's encompassed in that? What are they gonna do for that?
What's it gonna buy?
Yeah,
Just told him it was the designer, that was the next step in this process.
yeah, we're cool with that, and
Yeah.
we've hired designers, in fact, we just paid them this week again for.
Right, for Hidden Valley,
Yeah.
Canyon Valley, I'm
Canyon
sorry,
Valley.
yeah.
But before we started that program, we got a list of, okay, this is what we're gonna do. These are your tasks as a designer.
I'm sure I can get more, I mean, Joyce might be at the meeting based on, you know, like FaceTime tomorrow. I mean, if there's questions that we need to give to her or to Andrew, the better, you know.
So are you
satisfy.
gonna be at this meeting tomorrow?
I've got a couple of concerns. I mean, overall, I support it, but I think that we gotta be careful moving forward, especially with spending money that's been dedicated for something and then we're changing scope. I'm nervous about that because, you know, once we present this to the voters may say, no, we don't want this, too much money, or a bunch of different reasons that they could, and then we're left holding the bag, having to give back money that's been donated to us. So
I mean, like I said, it's 125,000. I'm worried that, you know, there's 18,000 is gonna go on, whether we pay his expenses, the designer, and now we still gotta look to get 125,000, and we haven't, you know what I mean, is that gonna be 5 years from now?
Right.
I don't, you know, so that's my concern.
I thought
and
we were
is it-
talking about putting a warrant article together, looking for $20,000 to get this off the ground.
Yeah.
I'd be more comfortable supporting that than I
Well,
would
the
be.
CIP, I think they had questions.
Well, they did naturally. actually, and
Yeah.
they shouldn't, they're valid questions.
Right.
And the questions are about vetting this project through. I don't think we're at a point where we have enough information to give to the voter.
Mhm.
You have a concept, that's about it, and I know the next step is a design, but I think we need the voter, to authorize money for the design rather than taking it from this, the pot. This money is for the construction, that's what it was donated for.
Exactly.
You're asking us for permission to take that money and spend it towards design.
I guess, yeah.
I'm not sure that's right.
Mhm.
I think if we went forward with a warrant article and asked for money for design, I would fully support that.
Yeah. Timing on the warrant article would be fine, you think?
At the end of the, we have almost to the end of the month to put a warrant article together.
Okay.
And then the voter will decide whether they think
In
this is a valid
March.
project, yeah, in
Right.
March.
So then tomorrow night, you guys can hammer out a warrant article. Bring it back to us on the 23rd.
Mhm.
Or if you haven't hammered out well enough, it'd be kinda hard to give it to the budget committee, but.
I can't support taking money out of this, fund.
Mhm.
No, I see your concerns.
I'm gonna be a no vote.
Well, we don't have to vote, cause we haven't really
Okay.
had a motion. Why don't we go with that?
Okay.
Tomorrow night, see what you can hammer out here for us, and
That's
then
fine. No, that's okay.
it'd be just like our solar
Yeah.
project, you know,
Yeah.
we really have to have something to
Yeah.
think of.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
But I think that
understand.
would go.
You got certainly, I mean, that's justified what you're saying. No question. If there was any bill,
It also gives the voter a chance to file in.
yeah.
If you get a design bill or one article passed, you got a better shot at it.
So as far as, what, you talking about a warrant article, what did you mention about someone putting that together?
Well, you guys are gonna be meeting tomorrow night.
Yeah.
You gotta decide wording, for example, which is pretty simple, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of X amount of dollars for the design
Yeah.
of whatever you're gonna call this complex,
Okay.
all right? Bob can help you with that, I'm sure. And then, you know, that's pretty simple,
Okay.
not too complicated, but make sure you gotta, it doesn't need to be great long, but it needs to pretty much cover, to say to include a skills pack, whatever, just a few things that you're gonna put there, you know, the
Yeah.
big basic, the 3 blocks.
Right.
Oh, by town meeting, anybody that reads the Tuftonboro Times will see that, which will help a lot too.
Okay.
And it's not just us, you
No.
once you write a warrant article, you gotta not only sell it to us, you sell it to the budget committee. So it has to, you have to have, not that the warrant article wording has to be sold, but the concept.
Right.
So you have to have a lot more,
So we got till the end of January?
About that, 28th, 24th, something like that.
yeah.
26th is a Friday. Maybe a couple weeks.
I would think tomorrow night you
You
should
should
be
be
able
able
to
to flesh it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that for
Then
sure.
whatever wording we do, we send off to DRA anyways, and
Jen.
DRA says whether
Oh,
we
Jen's got it.
do it or not.
That's all I have. The only other question I have is, again, I saw the budget, the Wolf Road thing, and I know Audrey met with her today, and you'll get a report from her, but as I said last year, there's that youth assistance fund sitting there, and nothing was spent, but
What was?
it's gonna go into the whole Wolf Road thing, so the wording ain't right, you know what I mean? If you're gonna pay Wolf Road 17, you guys are the bosses, do what you want, I really don't care, but.
Don't tell me you don't.
Well, you do
No,
care.
I
but
do.
I mean,
No, I do care, but I mean, it's,
Oh, okay.
it's just the way it is in the budget,
Right.
it don't, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It don't look right.
We're hoping to get a much better actual agreement written up and a much better accounting of where money's being spent,
There's
so that we can do a better job. administrating.
And I understand the relationship and
it's
everything,
gonna take time.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I just think that, my own personal opinion is, that little money we give to them is taking care of a small percentage of the people in Tuftonboro, where if that 17,000 was given to me for programs, more Tuftonboro people would benefit by that.
Well, you know what, next year you may have that opportunity, because I don't know how this discussion is gonna go down, I don't know anything yet, we're gonna find out very, very soon. And, next year when you present your budget, you may have the opportunity to do just that. This $1,500 that we just voted on, that should come out of the youth assistance line.
Mhm.
There should be money, you should put a couple $1,000s in there, just for that. You're gonna change how your budget's presented next year. You want this money, you gotta ask for it. This money, the way we took it and split it up, we took $16,000 and split it up between those lines, knowing that there was the potential that we had to pay it to Wolfboro.
Mhm. But technically, it's all the same.
Second,
What should happen is the Wolfboro money should come out of this budget completely.
Yeah, I like
It
what
should
you're
have
saying.
its own line.
Now,
Yeah.
you're talking.
And it has in the past,
No.
the very distant past. I can show you some reports where it was its own line.
so your budget next year may change in structure.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. That's all I
Hang in
have.
there,
Huh?
hang in there.
But this was the
Okay.
first, this was the first thing that we had to do, is iron this deal out with the town of Wolfboro.
Yeah.
All right,
All right then.
Thanks.
enjoy the pup.
Oh, I will. I went to talk to Audrey today, and she goes, "What's the matter with your face?" There's blood all over it, because he scratches you.
There is a real one.
Is there a real?
They're not in there.
Send
Jen has her.
That's
Can
a
you send
real
Jen
one.
in?
All right.
Can you send Jen in? No, just, we need her.
Hey, Jen, you're being called.
Is this to do with the joint loss
Yeah,
request?
yeah.
Good, because I don't see any joint loss people here.
There's the real one.
Wanna go home?
There's a budget line for them. We don't have it. Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
They did have
Thanks
some.
for letting Lucy hang out with us.
Bye, Lucy.
I think it might be an emergency meeting.
Yep, you're up.
I'm up.
Start at once and then I got talking again.
Hello,
Hi there,
how's it going?
very well, how are you?
Good.
Just Ducky.
Ducky. A couple things. Joint Loss Management Committee met in December, and in the past, we have offered training for employees, and the last time we did it was in 2019, and then COVID hit, and at that time, we actually offered classes in person here at the town office. It was one day, and it was done in the morning and afternoon. We, as a Joint Loss Management Committee, are supposed to provide programs for continuing education for employees on the subject of workplace safety. So, Primex now offers online courses, and we thought that it would be a good idea to offer these to the town employees, with the department heads kind of spearheading which classes they should take. We felt the ones that were beneficial or would be good would be preventing workplace harassment, which is a 60-minute class. There's bloodborne pathogens, which would apply for obviously some of our town employees. A training guide for healthy office workers, which may work well. Lisa took one just to see how the process worked, and she did it here and actually said it was helpful with some suggestions. There's a slip, trip, and fall prevention one. There's, yeah, yeah, really. I think we all could. There's actually a couple that are specific to road agent, one being snowplow operator safety, and one being garage fire safety. And then there's one that's actually specific to transfer station. So again, they're all offered online, so it wouldn't be done here, but it could be done during work hours. We thought we would like to recommend these be offered to department heads, but we feel like we need to have some meat behind this, whereas the selectmen could, recommend that these classes be taken. Our goal hopefully by the end of the first quarter, second quarter, whatever your thoughts might be on that, but just wanted to make you
And these
aware
are-
of that.
These are offered at no charge.
There's no charge. It's very easy to get on. You just get into Primex, register, take the class, and at the end of the class, you get a certificate saying that you've completed the class.
Do we need a motion for this?
I'll make a motion that we inform inform our department heads of these classes and urge them for them and their employees to attend.
I'll second that. Is there any discussion on this?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. And also, just as a reminder, since I am here, is that the filing period is coming up, January 24th to February 2nd. We do have a selectman position, which is probably going to be available, well, it is available, and I don't know if anyone's planning on running for that. Moderator position is also available, and I do believe we're gonna need a moderator. Supervisor of the checklist, trustee of the trust funds, cemetery trustee, library trustee, and 2 budget committee positions are open.
Our current moderator is gonna do this town meeting, correct?
I believe he's committed through the election and then would be the town
Because
meeting.
new officers take over after.
Take over after that,
Okay.
so yes.
Do you by chance know where one would sign up for the school board?
School board, their filing period is probably the same time, but because the date of the election is the same, probably at the SAU, I would think.
I'll get in touch with you.
Okay. So just to make everybody know that those are positions that are open.
And for some reason, I'm seeing this duties of selectmen vis-a-vis the checklist.
Just wanted to remind you, for the election, what your responsibilities are. Mainly to be there for the day, and hopefully one of you can stay and help.
I have
Right.
volunteered once again to do that.
Thank you very much,
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that.
I do
It-
too, because I'm a working fool still.
So,
It also should not be a super long night, because again, it's just 2 primaries and 1 election, so hopefully it won't take too long.
so should we vote tonight about the hours? Cause we're not meeting again until the 23rd.
Yes, I believe the hours are 8 AM to 7 PM.
So that's all
So
set.
I think a lot of that is already in place, it's just,
Okay.
Is that an RSA driven?
yeah, and it's basically just the selectmen are responsible for the election.
And they
Everything's
delegate to
kind of
you
in
and the
place
moderator.
already, but, if, something was gonna change, for example, if we decided we needed to move the location or hours or something, that would be your call.
Great.
But you do the I mean, a lot of this, I was surprised
Yeah.
to get it. We don't do anything with the sealed ballot containers.
Yes, that's what Guy is, decided, agreed to stay, because at the end of the night, we seal the ballots, and we need one of the selectmen to sign that.
Yeah,
to-
the signing, but,
Yeah,
No problem.
so that's then at that instant, they deliver the containers to you?
yes,
I got it.
yeah.
Police chief drives them down to Concord, does he not?
We keep the ballots here, they're actually in a stored, locker downstairs that only I have the key to. The results go to, Wolfboro, and they then deliver them as a group. So, yeah, so the police will wait for our results and then deliver them there. Any other
Wonderful.
questions for me?
No, thank you. I think
Thank
it's
you
good.
all,
Thank you very
Thanks so
much.
much.
appreciate it.
All
Your
right,
turn.
next up, we have Miss Elena.
Yes. I think everybody knows Alana Albig, 140 Ledge Hill Road. So I'm here tonight because we have a drainage problem on Ledge Hill Road. And before the snow, when we had those heavy rains, I took some photographs because essentially the drainage ditch along Ledge Hill Road ends just before my second plot on the downhill side. That the plot that I purchased not so long ago, and as a result, the water from Ledge Hill Road comes down and runs into and under the power lines, and is, because of the heavy rain, has cut a ditch and dumped the sand and the debris from the road, and is also cutting into the, I'll show you a picture, cutting into the ground very close to the road. So it needs some repair. And
It drained properly before before this damage, correct?
The problem seemed to start with that very heavy rain we had in the spring,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's what I mean, before that it drained properly, right?
I don't really know, cause I didn't own it, and there were trees, and I hadn't been maintaining under the power lines and so forth, cause I didn't own that side of the stone wall. But, let's see if I can make this any bigger. That might be the biggest I can do, but you can see what has happened here, where it's cutting into
Mhm.
basically the drain stops here, my house is up here, right? So,
It's coming dangerously close to the road.
yeah, and then it cuts in, between the stone, there's an opening in the stone wall that's been there for years, and it's basically cut a ditch down, so all the water runs basically onto the property, and it's creating like a stream bed. So what, I mean, I'm no expert, but I think what needs to happen is the drainage needs to go between the road and the stone wall. So that
The
water.
next lot down, I believe, is that 5-acre lot that's right on the corner of Dane Road, correct?
No,
No, there's one between.
there's one
Oh,
between,
there's another one?
the one that was for sale for so long,
Oh, no, that's the,
right across from Billy's or Sherry Hersey's
that's right,
old house.
that's right, because there's the 5-acre lot, then there's the one that, keeps going up and down for sale.
Yeah, yeah,
Then your lot, and then your house, correct?
that's right,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's any drainage design on that side of the road from Lana's house to Sodom Road or Dane Road. really.
Yeah, because that 5-acre lot that's on the corner of Dane Road has drainage, it has a swale. So I think all our road agent would have to do is to get that water directed down to that swale.
Yeah, it's quite, I mean.
It's 2 lots away,
Yeah,
it's 2 lots away.
yeah,
And the other part of, that, I'll recuse myself from any voting here, but the other part of her problem is that you got all the water from the south side of Ledge Hill Road crossing right above her driveway, and then it's going south or going west. And it's where that crossing is, you just need to put some riprap or something in there to slow it down a bit.
Well,
Because
drainage
there's a
issues
culvert.
on Ledge Hill Road are nothing new by any means, all over the place. And the chances of getting something done before spring are pretty minimal. And,
it isn't that I'm in a rush, it's just that
right,
I'd like a plan so that, I can, move
Sure.
ahead.
we have no problem with asking the road agent to come up with a plan,
Okay,
not at all.
But it probably won't
And
happen
then
until
just
the
time of the
snow.
year right now is a
Sure.
little rough, but,
sure,
yeah,
I
No,
would
that's fine.
absolutely support it, asking our road agent to come up with a plan.
sure. I don't think we need to vote on that, I think we just need to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Cammy, would you make a note of that, please? And then, he can look at it, I don't know what he's gonna see right now other than the snowbank, but come springtime,
and then he'll tell me when he's coming to report to you, so I can come on here what he's,
Sure,
His ideas.
he comes here once a month, but like I said, he's not gonna even look at it until the snow's
Sure.
gone.
sure, okay,
And that's why I asked if it was draining properly before, and this damage happened because of that big rain, then it's a much easier sell. It's not like we're doing you a favor and creating something new.
yeah,
This is just repairing something that was already existing.
as close as that's coming to the pavement of the road, this isn't anything personal, this is definitely a road issue.
Mhm.
And a citizen has brought it to our attention,
Yep, I just wanna make sure
Yeah.
that that's clear.
yes.
and the first time I really noticed it was that big rain we had in the spring,
Mm.
and then I tried to deal with all the mess it made, and then it happened again, and I thought,
It's apt
I'm
to
getting
happen
too old to
again.
do this.
It may happen again on Wednesday.
Yeah, I understand that, I understand that, okay, thank you very much.
Thanks for bringing that to our attention, appreciate it, Elaine. All right, next up, we have our police monthly update. And transfer station's gonna take us a while.
Do we
I'm gonna go
want-
see if he's here.
I would like you to see if he's there.
You bet.
So this doesn't drag on any longer than it has to. We're almost on schedule if you was here.
Really?
Really close. Only a couple of minutes behind. Not bad.
I missed the puppy already.
Okay. So, the grumpy selectman is actually really an old softy when it comes to,
Oh, yeah.
I shouldn't say that, the self-proclaimed grumpy.
No, the true grumpy.
No.
No?
Not yet. All right, that being the case, we're gonna move along with our transfer station, year-end report, and 2024 budget request.
I have that.
Good evening, Chris. Thank you.
That's actually a three-year report, but a lot of this is waiting for cost from waste management. So, our January report will be complete year-end report.
Do you have an online account with Waste Management where you can see your invoicing and all that? You can,
Okay,
yeah. You just go onto their website and wm.com, you can sign
sign
up.
up, okay.
You can make requests, you can see reports, you can.
I
it's a pretty good
email,
website.
the, control center every week when it's time to pick stuff up, but
Yeah.
it's probably different.
They have a portal that's
Yeah.
very helpful.
Oh, great, I'll do it. Thanks for that info. So I can explain probably what I've given you. I know that sometimes my, you know, gibberish is different than everybody else's gibberish, but basically the bottom line is my year-end estimate is $111,813. Total income that we returned to the general fund, and you can see that in that bottom number. Our avoided costs, I'm sorry, that $111,813 is $14,116 more than last year. Last year we had,
So I've got 108,646, is that what you're talking?
right, but I took the 14,000 that were ahead of last year
Okay.
and rolled it in just to,
Because. Okay, so the C and D for the total for the year is 92,298.
well, I'm short my December bill. But I'm estimating that my December bill's gonna be probably somewhere between 9 and 11,000. So
So that's
that's
your,
why I put it up to 180
that's your
cost.
cost.
Yeah,
That 92,000 is your cost, right?
no, the 92,298 is what I brought in
Okay, that's revenue.
for CD. Now, before my year-end totals, we were about 19,000 upside down.
Mm-hmm.
With that 14,000 rolled into it, we're like 5,400 upside down.
Yeah.
Overall, the budget was. This does not include any of the avoided costs that we
Right.
had, all the stuff that we shipped out, and the paper, the cardboard and everything. My avoided cost total was $47,500. So it's 100 and between avoided costs
cost in actual income went up to about 160.
Okay.
So basically, that's without the void cost, 19% of my, 19.6% of my budget went back to the
No,
general fund.
19.6% of
500.
your disposal cost of the budget, not
No.
19% of your whole budget.
The
Your whole budget's $500,000.
$108,000
Maybe.
plus 14, it's 19%.
Not too bad? Not too bad. See if I can do better.
I mean, I think you've done well on the C and D. I think now you gotta work on the brush.
Yes, I've identified a few areas that we.
Excuse me,
No problem.
I'm rude.
So did our,
Sorry,
increase in rates for the last quarter of the year, did that,
I mean, it helped a little bit, but it didn't pulse where we need to be because we're still short. But we, last
We were
meeting,
significantly short at the beginning of the year.
right, so we're gaining, but I'm still advocating for that scale. It took me 2 years to get my feet wet with CD, and last year it was readily apparent to me that that's the only fair and equitable way that we're gonna make sure that the town isn't upside down. We just need to figure out the rate. If we put the scales in, we have to figure out a rate that we charge per pound and go with it until we figure it, that we can fine tune it. But we identified when you request the oil, the entire year we took in $360 waste oil. It's probably going to cost us at least that, if not, I've gotten prices up to double that. So my recommendation is do away with it. People can take their waste oil to an outside vendor. People that sell oil take it to recycle it. Ed burns it in his furnace. Walmart takes it for free. It's between us handling it, storing it, because we have to, store it, and then having it pumped out where we're never going to get. But I don't think, even if not ahead of the oil, and we've already started charging that $5 a gallon, and it's not met by happy input every time that we charge somebody $5 a gallon.
no, but if you think, what's gonna happen if we stop taking waste oil, what's gonna happen?
We tell them to take it to Walmart, everybody goes to Walmart.
Yeah. People are
Well,
gonna,
you didn't collect anything for oil in October, November, and December.
Right.
people are gonna be dumping oil. I don't know, I personally think that we have to take it. That's just my humble opinion. I think we need to keep taking it.
Well, I agree we need to take it, but we need to take it at the right cost. So
Yeah.
if we're
Well, we are-
$5 a gallon, that's
Waste
$5
oil
a
is
gallon.
considered hazardous. We're dealing with it, with the hazardous product here.
Mhm.
And we're dealing with whatever people put into it.
Oh, absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. You don't know what's in there other than oil.
Right.
But definitely, it's a carcinogen.
I mean, if you look at this cost sheet, it's almost at reckoning for everything that we take. I mean, electronics, we collected almost 2,300 electronics for the year. Well, every time I have that container empty, it's $1,275. So we're already, $3,000 behind on electronics before we open the gate. Brush, we definitely need to address the brush.
Yeah, brush and electronics, you're way off.
Yeah.
focus.
I mean, it cost me it cost the town this year, $5,000 to have all that brush ground, and we had to do it early, because we had so much of it, and if you look down there, we could probably do it a second time. So brush needs to, they need to figure out and address that. The bulbs, it's 6 to 1.5 dozen the other. It costs me about $250 a year to dispose of the bulbs. We took in just shy of 200. So it's pretty close.
So you need to, on your electronics, you've got receipts for all of these incomes that you have here for 12 months.
Yeah.
Comes up to $2,274 that you collected. You need to go through those invoices and figure out what you took in. And you need to bring that up to $5,600. So whatever the rate is, that's what the rate's gotta be.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
because right now you're upside down by $1,600 on that line, electronics,
Correct.
trash.
Tires are another issue, where we took in 1,060, it's 800 every time I have a tire pick up, and we've had, 3 this year, so we're behind on tires as well. And we're charging, $4 a tire, we could probably up that,
Well, it might be make a few phone calls,
Right.
what's Tire Warehouse charging or Northern Tire?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
everything's
think-
got
I
disposable.
think it's about $10 a tire, but I'll do that research. Freon is pretty much, I have 2 different sections of Freon. One is I have a gentleman that comes, pumps out the refrigerators, air conditioners, whatever, takes coils out of them, he uses that as his payment. So that's 0 cost, no matter if he comes and pumps 20 or 100. However, this year we got backed up. I called the place in Farmington. They came up and they pumped out more of them. That was 1,300 cost for that 300, which wasn't necessarily a budget cost. But I mean, if you remember the summer, we were just inundated with stuff, and it'll happen again probably in the spring, but hopefully we'll address that cost. But other than that, it's, it's questions on that.
Pretty well covered it.
It is what it is.
So you've got another pickup from Waste Management?
Well, but pickups for the over, but I have a bill coming in. No,
So we still have one more bill for 23?
correct.
Okay.
Which, the only thing that we should probably go over on waste management is the C&D. Everything else, that kind of is in pretty decent shape.
Well, I mean,
And we've got 13,000 in MSW, but MSW is around 11,000.
you had $20,000 left in your 23 budget. Last month you spent $22,000 or 21,600.
For waste
That's
management.
CMB and MFW, so that
And
doesn't,
1,000 bucks.
that doesn't give you a lot of space.
No, but it should be, December was, this is the previous one, so I'm hoping that we don't get whacked. Oh, no, in 2 weeks.
This is 79 cents. Oh.
So this sheet, this is on revenue,
reminder that the waste management contract increases are now going into effect because it's January 1st. So now we're up to $169 per container, so it's $338.
Did you do that math that I mentioned? We had given them a 1 year
Yeah.
push, so we can only have an increase from 21 or 22, not from 23.
But this increase is contractual step increase.
Right.
Has nothing to do with F5.
But the step, how much is the step?
Yes,
What percentage?
Should only be a couple percent,
yeah.
2-3%.
You know, we've gone from 220, it's like $100 per haul, so, yeah, probably, you know, it might be a little bit more than that. It says fixed rate 3%. I haven't run it out, but that's the contractual increase. That shouldn't be that one-time 3%.
Right.
Can I see that sheet?
We should do a contractual increase based on the 22 initial contract, or
Correct.
23 initial contract.
Annual increase is a fixed rate of 3%.
Yep.
So it's 3% higher than what it was last year,
No, it's
not including our one-time.
right. Well, let's make sure it's not including that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't believe it is.
Let's have
But
Audrey
I'll
take a
call
look.
Pete.
Have Audrey take a look at it too, so we're all on the same page.
And another tidbit for increases are January 1, NRA went up
Yeah,
for glass recycling, plus they went up $5 a ton. For, you know, well, I'm sorry, it's a total of $5 a ton. So they've increased their bill to $45 a ton. I've already talked to Audrey about this, and I'm waiting for waste management to get back to me. I've got to call in to Pete. We pay waste management to truck our glass. They charge us by the ton.
Mhm.
We have that glass delivered to Epping,
Mhm.
to the crushing site. Then we get billed $400 from NRA to have it, quote unquote, recycled at the crushing site. My position is we're paying twice to dispose of this glass,
Well, we're paying to truck it,
plus,
and then they're charging to crush it?
correct. So, in the idea of recycling, that crushed glass goes into road-based material, but I'm sure that road-based material is being sold.
Right, they're not giving it away.
We're not getting any
Right.
kickback.
Because right now, you had NRRA had $4,000, you spent $3,253, but now you're asking for $6,200.
Right, because I'm worried about that increase. We do, the NRA, we do
It's like
the,
a 50%
we
increase.
do electronics for them, we have five electronics halls. We do this for
But
them.
your electronics is a different line item. You got an NRRA line item,
Which is,
it's going up 50%.
which is their separate bill.
Right. I mean, are we gonna do the budget now, or what are we doing there, Chair?
That's what's on the schedule for the next thing to do.
Might as well segue right into it.
Yes, indeed, we have Chris here.
Yeah,
So your NRRA,
Thank you.
I'm confused about this conversation that just transpired.
Yep.
We're paying NRRA, we budgeted $4,000 last year, but we additionally we're paying for glass disposal and electronics disposal, which also goes to NRRA, right? So what is the NRRA fee? $4,000 that we budgeted in 2023.
yes.
What do we get for that?
But we have to pay membership. be in the NRA, cause they handle a lot of the paperwork. But we still have to ship it, we still have to, pay disposal costs. My position is, if I can just pay waste management, $450 plus whatever time, I can take NRA out of the equation for glass.
Right, because waste management does recycling, right?
Let's say yes. We can only go with what they tell us.
I know we send all our cardboard, so,
Yeah.
so you're going from $4,000 to $6,200 for the NRA fee.
Mhm.
And you said you're concerned about the increase in fees.
Yep.
But you're concerned about the increase in fees from glass disposal and electronics disposal.
Well, that's just to name a few. NRA handles our cardboard. They handle-
So just so we can be clear, NRA is getting paid for NRA glass disposal and electronics disposal,
Right, which is
$11,125 last year.
which is a separate cost from our regular disposal.
Right. And then for the same NRA glass disposal, electronic disposal in 2024, Chris is looking for 14,500, so you got an increase of $3,375.
Mm-hmm. About 25%.
Doesn't that also include the waste management trucking in those line items?
Right.
No?
Waste management is separate.
So where does cardboard come in? If we do cardboard,
Cardboard is, cardboard, we get revenue from cardboard. So any fee that would be charged would come out of that revenue. They just handle all the arrangements. They call vendor, they call transportation company. They do all that.
so cardboard should fall under revenue. You should see,
Yeah, it does. I saw it. Where did I see it? Somewhere. No,
I don't see it under revenue.
If I broken down here, so I can tell you what I put in for cardboard this year. Total from January.
Well, it should be in one of these two places. You should either have it in budget as an expense or in revenue as a revenue. And I don't see it in either place.
Well, it wouldn't necessarily be an expense item.
Yeah, it goes, what I do is,
He's bailing it, selling it, he's not putting.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. There should be in either place.
yeah, in
It should be a revenue number.
yeah, monthly, it goes into my monthly report. When we ship out OCC and we get a check, it goes into the monthly report. I don't honestly think I've ever created a separate line item for OCC. I mean, I can also,
Well, it's gonna change your 92,000 figure, your 108,000.
well, yeah,
Cause that's not in here,
right, well, right, all I've done with that is,
unless it's miscellaneous.
well, I've counted the OCC in the cans, there's, avoided costs, I took the income into the grand total. So,
But we don't know where it is. How much is the, can we pull a cardboard number out?
yeah. 0.6. I have cardboard here in, we shipped out OCC in, July, sorry, 2,600, I'm sorry, 1,343, 1,343
In July,
in July, and then in December we shipped out and it was 3,300.
so you've got $4,700 in revenue somewhere.
Yeah.
It's either in here or it's not. And if it's in here, where is it?
Excuse, I put that in here, I don't think I put it in here, I think I just trying to translate and call it good.
Well, we can verify with Audrey what she's got for income from the transfer station. I mean, more importantly, if we wanna talk, if we're back at the budget, what are the expense lines gonna, what should they be? And the only trouble I have with the presented budget is the, recycling assistant. I think the fuel and propane number is too high.
So we should start at the top and work our way down.
Those three, so, yeah, you wanna start?
So you're adding a position.
Well, this is the continuation of the conversation we had 6 months ago. If we take some of that money, but don't, but we take the remainder of Rob's money that we're not spending on him, and we can wait until after town meeting, we can put on that extra person that we've been talking about for off and on, and we should be able to,
But that'll change 2025's budget
correct,
by an additional person.
right?
Right, you're going from, you're proposing to go from 5 people to 6 people.
I'm supposed to go to 5 people, we've only got, right now, we've only got 2 full-timers
No,
myself.
let's just talk about the budget, not who's working, so it's easier that way. But right now, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
Right, 5, yes, that would be
on the budget.
5 on the budget, correct.
In here, we've got 6, I think, don't we?
So you've got 6.
What we've got,
4, 5, 6, we've got 6.
is a per diem line, which would,
Well, you still have a per diem line.
Yep.
Okay, so that one's in. And the recycling assistant 2 is in. And recycling attendant is in. Yeah, that's in, and the supervisor's in.
correct.
So. Yeah, we're gaining here. I'm gonna give you the other attendant.
In 2024, you're working it out so that it's covered.
Costing,
But in 2025, it's not,
it would probably increase the
You-
budget by 20,000.
whatever that position is. So why do you need 6 people, not 5?
Well, my point is that I can cut back, I want to be safe, not sorry, but my per diem line will decrease.
I see that.
Because I will put money, that money into the position, but I don't want to completely eliminate the per diem line after some thought, because I still need to cover guys on vacation, if guy goes out sick for a lengthy amount of time, I need to make sure that we have a functioning place, but I think that whatever I don't spend will come back. And with the extra help after town meeting, if we get the approval of the budget, then that per diem line will be considerably less. I'll lose on busy vacations.
Well, it's already considerably less. You know, you've gone from $22,337 to $8,000. I know, and I realize you moved that money from one line to somewhere else.
Yeah,
But still, in 2025 is where we're gonna see the impact on that,
If he hires somebody.
if he hires
yeah,
somebody.
if we can find somebody to, but I think what we're not seeing,
Well, You have 3 people now? You're there,
Yeah, and 2 people.
your attendant and a recycling
Assistant.
assistant. So we're gonna be interviewing somebody, I think, later
Yeah.
for the other assistant job, or the other
The
attendant,
attendant.
the other attendant job. So let's assume for the moment that we hire somebody. Now you have 4 people, right?
Yeah.
Plus your per diems,
Right,
and you're open 4 days a week.
which our per diems are down to 2.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of coverage. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm just,
I think that what we've talked about in the past is being in a place where I can start to play with the schedule a little bit, start to give a guy a Sunday off, and I need that to make that extra leap in order to make the schedules work. If I don't, we're going to continue on in the same path that we've been with the guys that we have. And
Yeah, and everybody's not happy working every weekend.
Rob just retired and he worked 15 years of Saturdays and Sundays,
Yep.
unless he took leave time.
Yep.
I think that those guys that work at the transfer station should be able to cook out with their family, or go to a beach, or go wherever, without, worrying about, just drive time, I should be able to make a schedule if we have coverage to work it around people.
I'm gonna go back in time. We, earlier this year, we talked about adding a day to the open hours, say
Correct.
Thursday.
Yeah,
And I don't remember why you said we can't do that. Can you refresh my memory?
licensing, if we change anything on the permit, we have to get licensed to do that through Congress.
Yeah?
Which means the licensing, application process, inspection, whatever, from the state. My position on this was possibly scenario 2, opening up the building for half a day on Thursday, bringing 2 guys in, and then do regular maintenance. And then closing, or letting 2 guys go home in the meantime, on the same, and put that into a rotation. If the facility isn't open for business, and I just have guys in there doing maintenance, we don't have to change the permit. But if we open for business,
I was mistaken.
we have to change the permit.
Okay. I mean, how involved is it? I mean, we just went through a process where you changed the permit this year.
Yes, we did. It was a process. I mean, it's a lot of back and forth between Congress and us. But that was just to renew a permit that was in arrears. If we go in for a new permit, change of hours, Congress will have to send them up here to do a site inspection, which doesn't necessarily bother me, but if we open up the facility for the site inspection from concrete, I think there's always a possibility of being find something. And we're going to go through that again.
That shouldn't be a concern.
If we get a solar array voted on, then we're going to have to change the permit anyways for that. So we might want to think about down the road.
I guess,
Because if you add a day, if you add a Thursday, say, you can rearrange the schedule with the people that you have,
Correct.
so that not everybody has to work every weekend.
Right. Yeah.
We don't hire another body, an additional body, and your staff gets that day. That's my humble opinion.
if we look at just what I know you moved some numbers around for per diems and regular attendance here. The net change in dollars is $16,500 between last year and this year on his budget, not what he spent. But a kicker is that it would have, I think the only way the budget committee will be sold, and for all intents and purposes, I'll be sold. You have to add another $15,000 in there for benefits, cause you're taking on another full-time person. So now all of a sudden you're up to.
Right, and this year it's covered.
$28,000 more money.
This year it's covered because we'll have a quarter of the year without Rob. 2025, if he's fully staffed, we're gonna see an impact.
Well, we're replacing Rob, as I understand. That's who we're interviewing to replace.
Well,
No.
long story short, Barry, we had, so Barry was going to Rob's assistant position and several responsibilities of that technically would be replacing Barry. But we're shuffling one for the other and we're replacing a position.
But that just keeps you status quo.
Correct.
So if you add somebody, now you've got 5 positions down there, plus your per diems. So 6 all total. And I think if you don't add a day, you know, if there's no sweetener in this deal, I don't think you're gonna get that $30,000 or $37,000. Cause it has, I mean, right now you're running pretty close to the bone, you're at $20,000 left in your budget. And
I can fiddle with the schedule, I can, apply for a new permit.
right,
I think the important thing is we're down a person. 6, 7, 8 years ago, whatever it was, we had 5 people. Now we don't. We're up over 103 tons of just municipal waste going through there. Plus we're up on, the C&D, but there's no shortage of responsibilities. And we've gone backwards in time when if we had stayed true to the scenario here, we might have 7 people. I'm not advocating for 7 people. I'm just saying that when we had a snowstorm, yesterday, or the day before yesterday, whatever it was, we've had 2 guys on machines trying to keep that place open, plus me running around doing everything else for 4 people.
Did you have much traffic in there yet?
4 customers already.
So, that shouldn't be much of a problem then to have one person maintain for 4 customers.
Not if that's the only thing I'm doing. I'm also shoveling, doing all the other stuff. So we got 2 guys committed to keeping the place open, and the 3rd guy, me at the time, doing all the incidental stuff. But yes, those scenarios repeat themselves. I don't think anybody out there is afraid to work as an investment for them, but
I guess I'm not ready to go to 6.
I'm not either.
5, I understand, Chris, I buy it.
well, if I had full-time, it would be 6.
No, you still get your per diems.
Well, yeah, we have those there.
Okay, so which one of these lines do we eliminate?
We have those there for emergencies.
The lowest recycling attendant? That doesn't work.
Yeah, the one that's blank is the one,
Right, the ad is the 5th line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th line down.
Yep.
30,922.
Right. So we cut that out.
Well, maybe the line, but some of that money should be shifted back to per diems.
correct.
We
Right,
can do that.
right, so so if we eliminate 30,922 and increase per diem to,
25,000.
well, he
Well,
hasn't spent his 22 yet.
Yeah, I think we could just keep it neutral.
to leave that at 22?
2237,
Yeah, that's fine.
flatten it.
Yeah.
So that line per diems would be 22,337?
That's what I'm hearing.
Okay. 3, 3,
Cross out this one.
Alright.
Cross out the 39, 2250.
And that's gonna bring the bottom line.
Well, we got a couple more to talk about.
Oh,
Mr. Chair.
I
What about your recycling attendant line, the second recycling attendant line? It was 47,494. You going at a starting salary?
No, I'm going to,
Cause you went down $10,000 in that line.
which one now?
The second recycling attendant, the one that says 37,179.98.
That would be a new position.
I think I'm gonna get a different budget. You, I have 41.
If you look at them together, it's the one that's, level 8.3.
Oh, we're on that page.
Well, it makes it tie easier,
Okay.
yeah.
That line has gone down $10,000.
Right.
You sure that's what you wanna do?
You said something assistant.
But he's positive that's what he wants to do.
Two. Yeah, 54,688 would be the budgeted amount for that for 24.
No, that's your recycling assistant too.
The reason I think it's down is partly because, it's not a full year.
Oh, you're talking about getting two positions, right? And then we figured that part of that would be if we hire somebody right off quick. We have to do whether they start immediately or start February 1st. Then there's recycling attendant. The other one was until after town meeting, so it's a March, April hire. So that was what the money.
That's why it was 30 and not 37.
Yeah.
I'm clear on it.
So I think next year would be 37 plus COLA plus the whatever else would be the total. I'm sorry, the 37 plus 3 months for next year should bring it up to, the 40.
You're clear on it. Which one are we, do I have that right? Currently eliminating
So
that line?
Yes.
that
And then
person,
you're making that down?
Yes, and that is new. Because I took it off this sheet, I matched the numbers up to who was what.
And it says right there, correct.
Yeah,
And that would be starting February 1st, which would be pretty much a full year's worth of pay.
so you take in that person that's in that 2023 and putting them in Rob's position,
Yeah, I see that.
yeah, okay.
Got it.
So fuel and propane?
Yep.
10.
fuel and propane.
Yeah.
It's up a little.
Well, he's only spent $2,700 this year.
Hmm.
So,
Well, because what I've done here is I went up, because in that line I put the propane, recycling and the propane, in the, Freon, that we have to pay for, I put in that line item, we have to pay to get rid of the propane tanks, and the propane tanks are, we've had 50 of them down there.
so how can that be,
So
Okay.
some of this is disposal?
yeah, you got disposal and you've got expense. The fuel is obviously the fuel for your loader and all the rest of that stuff.
Okay, so I've got,
And the propane's for your, assumed generator?
yes, that propane cost,
So that fuel and propane line is for your heating and your generator.
There you go.
Well, yeah,
and you're only at 59%, you've only spent $2,700 out of your $4,500.
yeah, I wanted to put that extra in there for stand. I can't,
Well, I'm gonna say that $4,000 ought to cover it.
I would agree,
What are we cutting to?
4,000.
4,000,
Okay.
so that's $1,150 decrease on that one. And C&D's good, well, that's good. Brush and stump grinding,
correct.
right now,
We spent a little over 5,000, I believe, on that.
right now you spent, you spent exactly 5,000.
Right, and the reason I put this in the way I did was because I wanted to have it run twice a year, rather than have that pile sitting there for,
So,
it's come down from 8,000 3 years ago to last year, my budget, and then my $6,000 budget, this year around to 10. Only just to let brush doesn't just sit there for, 6 months out of the year.
so that $5,000 that you spent, that was for one visit?
Correct.
Right, but you've only collected $2,235. If I could
Right.
have confidence that we're gonna at least double our brush and stump charges, I wouldn't have a problem going up.
Right.
But, I mean, if we're gonna only bring in $2,000 for $10,000 worth of business versus
Yeah, that was right.
5,000,
Um,
that seems a bit off.
I might be able to, keep that pile till May and have them come in May and grind it, and it might cost 6,000 or 7,000, but then we're gonna have another, a pile there from May till when we have ground again.
When did you get it ground up this year?
We
Or
got,
2023? When did you get it ground up?
beginning of June, so 6 months. But we had it ground last year in November, so you can see how it's going backwards. Slowly but surely. And we had, probably 6 months of a little tiny pile, now we have big pile.
The fire department can't do a burn?
No. Now with the regulations on air quality and all that, we have to get a special permit from,
I could burn it if it was at my house, but you can't because you're a municipality.
municipality, we have to have a special permit from the
Yeah.
EPA.
Fully understand.
Luckily, I mean, let's just say we're lucky that pile hasn't been hit by lightning. That's true.
And what's underneath it? Is there gravel underneath it, or is there more
Well,
brush that's underneath it?
Leaves and
So if you did burn,
underneath it,
if you did burn, there's a high probability that you'd have an underground fire.
could very, very much so have an underground fire. And if we have an underground fire and there's any kind of gas release
We
from
got a-
them,
We got a problem.
we have a problem.
Okay. I still, bringing in less than $3,000, I still have a problem going to $10,000.
I'm willing to work with in the middle or however you guys want to do it.
Well, it costs $5,000 to have them come, right?
This year.
This year.
Now, if we can,
No matter how much they,
no, that's just the longer he's here, the more he's gonna charge us. He came in June and ground up a pile as big as what we have.
yeah,
It took him about 7 hours. And it was $5,000. So if we continue with the way we're going and the piles, happy and it was big, might take him 9 or 10 hours to grind it and he might charge us.
If we leave it at 10, all I need to go to the budget committee with is assurances that we're gonna have more than $2,200 worth of collection.
Correct, we'll just have to work on that, and we'll have to, you know, if I need to come back and change the fee schedule, we're at $40 a trailer, and then less than that, it was less than that, but we can definitely look at increasing the fees a little bit. We're having more and more commercial guys, landscapers come in, it's easier for them to come in and dump in a pile, and it's for them to rent a chipper, chip it, on the site where they're working, you know, we've had people in town that bring pickup trucks after pickup truckload, and
See, we shouldn't be taking commercial.
Why? We take it in C and D.
Or should we?
Well, okay, you may have been here.
No, I wasn't here for the, for
I
that
thought
event.
you were sitting there.
No, I wasn't
When we
here.
decided we were gonna take commercial C
Commercial,
and D.
yeah.
actually, you know,
And all the people from out of town who used to live here came in to bitch.
I know.
I just,
Okay, if we're just, if we're not gonna change that line, if we're leaving it at $10,000, just to give us a benchmark here, that gives us, in my calculations, a total budget of $554,721, which is a 4.6% increase.
$554.
Yeah. We've eliminated the $30,000 attendant, but we've added 23 back in. And then we changed the Freon line or the fuel line.
Fuel and propane line.
Yeah. So you-
What if we did a one-time burn?
There's no burning.
Not burn, one-time grinding, I'm sorry, I misspoke. A one-time grinding, because a lot of that is just a mobilization fee, right? For him to bring all the shit out and set it up,
two big machines and, yeah, permit.
a lot of that is mobilization. What if we reduce that line to say $8,000 and do the
Yeah, I mean,
a one-time grinding?
whatever that line is,
Big pile.
yeah, whatever that line is what it is. I mean, I'll tell him that we've got, you know, how much it's gonna cost me to grind that pile, and if he says 9,200, then we're gonna,
And even if he has to come back a second day to do more grinding, he's already mobilized,
correct,
it's just more hours.
right?
So you feel comfortable at $8,000, Bob? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's what I'm suggesting. I don't know if I'm comfortable. But I think 10,000 is too much.
Alright. And 5,000's not enough.
Do you think you can make a big pile go away for $8,000?
Well, that's 3,000 more than we spent this year. We can probably, I mean, I'm sure he'll come, he'll grind, you know. If the pile is enormous, then it's gonna cost more money than it cost this year. But we can, I can have Cole come up and look at the pile and say how much it's gonna cost to do this twice.
And by then, Bob, he's gonna be able to come in and tell us that he's gotten at least $8,000 worth of fees,
Right,
okay?
right. I'm gonna suggest $8,000 for that line.
Alright. That's gonna give us a new total.
Of, I'm gonna say, 552,721.
Even?
I don't deal with the 79 cents.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
Can we just round shit up a little bit here?
Yeah.
Probably like the budgeting right to that.
Alright. That would then, unless there's anything else, conclude our,
Do you wanna vote? I'll make a motion that we approve the solid waste, this budget 483 23-24 at $552,721.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next on our agenda is a non-public concerning personnel. I'll make a motion to go into non-public concerning personnel.
I'll second.
Pike, aye?
Murray, aye.
Aldi, aye.
All right.
Okay, you're on.
Revisiting the transfer station budget.
I had the benefit of a more
Accurate number.
accurate number.
But I didn't match you, Tammy. What do you have? I have 551, 721.
Now we got three numbers.
Oh,
She had
man.
543,721.
I got that twice.
543.
721. So it's somewhere between 552 and 543.
Can I use this one?
Let's get this right.
Yep.
Okay, so if you take the first page alone, we have a collection subtotal, and then you took out,
2,000.
well, that's not yet, the 30,922, and then you put in 22,337, and then you took out 1150.
I think the difference is on the premium line. It's about 12,000.
We took out $2,000 on the brush cutting.
Right, that's in the disposal side, so before we go over there, that first page, I have a total of 252,888.50.
252.
888.50.
888.50.
Your total in every line, Sam?
I am.
What'd you get?
On the first page, I have 207,708 and 81 cents.
That's a huge
That's
discrepancy.
not even close.
I should have kept that second contract.
Should've.
I'm gonna do some math too.
Yep.
I'm $1,000 off of you. You had 552,721, and I had 551,721.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's the job reviews. Oh, we got those here.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to look at those, guys?
What's that?
Performance reviews?
No, I haven't seen those yet.
Just talking to the nation, we talked about getting the price for the fence at the landfill. We gave the fence company should be coming to see me. We got the next, in doing a proposal, at least getting a feel for the land and how much, I tried to nail them down and get price per foot of a 6-foot installed fence. They didn't want to touch it when I told them the size of it, they were like, we need to come.
Well, pushing it for.
Yeah, it's it.
I got 242, 888.
I left the 8,000 in for the recycle per diem. Right,
242,
I took out another 8.
242, 888.50. 79, excuse me. 242, 888.79 is what I got.
Good ones.
I got 2,000 more, but I might be missing something.
Yeah, I got 244.
Me too.
Let's do this again.
Yeah, this is performance evaluation sheet that Audrey's put together for us.
I haven't given you all of them, Chris was kind enough to bring it in.
Oh, no, that's fine, I'm just saying the format, yeah. Very sterile, I don't like it at all, to be honest
For
with
the
you.
third
I'd rather
time, I
have-
got the same thing I got.
I'd
the
rather
first
have a
two
handwritten
times.
paragraph, to be honest with you,
244.
but that's all right.
7/21/29.
Yeah,
Very much like what I've seen
oh my
a
name.
lot of times
Oh,
over
yeah.
and over and over.
Alright,
It looks like military evaluation.
how to vote on it? Got it. Alright, I'm gonna make a new motion for the town of Tuftonboro 4324 solid waste for 2024, a total budget of $543,721.29.
What is it again?
543,721.29.
And I got 244, the second time around on page.
Okay, 244,888. Okay.
79 on page 1.
Yep.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good, let's get to something.
So,
Okay.
that's gonna change the
Yes.
percentage again.
Do we put it over the budget?
What do you want?
Are we done here with this budget?
I
Yeah.
believe so.
I'll update it,
So,
give you a new copy.
I just had a question for a couple CIP sent me an email telling me that nothing I'm doing for is being
2.3%.
considered very soon.
This on warrant articles?
Yeah,
We haven't
scales,
voted on it yet.
any of that stuff, you know.
I think there is money in.
We gave Audrey a rough draft thing and we're gonna.
It's not typed up yet.
She hasn't typed it up yet. I don't remember, to be honest with you. If everything, I know that everything that you asked for was not there or recommended, but I don't know exactly what was there. I do believe you put money, you're gonna put money more in your maintenance fund, for example. But CIP doesn't have any idea what we're doing.
Right, I know.
So,
We did put more money in the loader account, I believe.
Right, I'd have to look at the minutes, and, we don't have any minutes.
So,
Bob may have it written
the
down.
information that's in this book right here,
We talked about $100,000 for the transfer station. I don't know where that $100,000 is.
Probably went into the maintenance budget, but, the fund.
Yeah, the revolving.
Ah, here we
It
go.
was a capital reserve
You went to the
fund
back.
for 100,000.
Right. I don't think we went there, did we?
The only thing for transfer station was capital reserve fund for 100K.
And that's Article 11, that's what the,
CIP
CIP
recommended.
recommended.
Yeah. So there is a warrant article.
so I just have some food for thought here, and it needs a response, I just want to get the CIP has put this chart together of extended expenditures. Now, I've gone and broken it down, and looking at 2024, somewhere around 1,439,000. 25, 1,600,000, 26, 1,410,000, 27, 1,350,000 for expenditures that Food Water track. Those are new expenditures. If we keep on 500,000 plus 200,000 paving, if we keep 140,000 plus 140,000 for dredging, gets really, the fire department has, 500,000, 25,000, so on and so forth. My request this year was 12% of my overall budget. I think that's 178,000 for that mission. When some of the other departments are over their budget by 10 or 15% in what they request. I just want everybody to be clear that we put $111,000 back into the budget. And we're not asking for much, we're asking for next year maybe a set of scales, this year a loader. My point is that if we put off $170,000 investment for the town, next year when we're trying to put $1.4 million into a fire truck, police car, etc., it's going to get pushed off in. Then in 2026, when we're trying to put $1.6 million in, it's going to get pushed off in. We're never going to get improvement to a place that is mandated by the state to operate. We're the only entity in town that's mandated by law to function, except for Jack. And Jack brings it right in also. I just want you guys to kind of think about how you're making decisions, because we're not asking for a lot up there on the hill. I've been doing this this is my third budget, and everything keeps getting put on hold. My quandary is, the fire department, they've got 4 or 5 pieces of apparatus, 3, 4, 5 vehicles, loads. We're in the mutual aid system. We're part of Lake Region mutual aid that we pay for, and we're part of Boston Valley mutual aid that we pay for. Point is, how many $1 million trucks do we need to buy?
And to your case, none of those are revenue generating.
Right.
Whereas your proposal for a scale is revenue generating.
Correct. I just think that those all things need to be taken into consideration. If we have a fire, then we have mutual aid. We can call Wilbur, we can call Osprey, we can call Center Osprey, we can call Wolfboro. They all have 3 or 4 or 5 $1 million fire trucks in an interstation. 9 times out of 10 they don't have a fire at the same time we do. Occasionally they might, but that's why we're part of this big web. Police, they're not asking for much, but it's just public safety is the town's biggest push. And the police need a new car, let's give them a new car. Well, the fact is that if the transfer station stops running tomorrow, we're in a quandary.
So we put some money aside last year.
Yeah.
$50,000.
Yep.
And I know that we've talked about, we're recommending an
Exactly what
addition,
CIP recommended, yes.
an
And
addition
they
to that.
recommended one warrant article for you.
Yeah, and they called me and said, I got an email that says that I was in agreement of it, and I was never notified what the recommendation was going to be until I saw this book. Yeah, I'm not in agreement of it. I mean, for what it's worth, I think that we should start to be recognized.
What is CIP? Wait, is it $100,000?
$100,000 to add it to the transfer
So now you
station.
got $150,000
Capital reserve fund.
to buy equipment, and you don't think that's enough money?
Not for the quote I have. I've got a quote on a machine.
Well, he wants a loader and a scale.
No, you're not gonna get both this year, it's not gonna happen.
So you're gonna have,
Yeah.
so,
I mean, we have other things we have to buy,
No, that's, I'm not looking for.
We're gonna be like Wolfboro and have 28% increases in our taxes.
Okay, I'm not looking for you guys to tell me right now what you're putting in for, what you're not. I'm just trying to get food for thought. I'm just saying that 2021, we returned 20.6% of our budget. 2022, 19.3% of our budget. This year, 19.6% of our budget. Who's doing that in town? Don't have to answer me, it's just food for thought.
Yeah. No, and that's why we have a $500,000 budget for the transfer station, because we can assume that we're gonna be able to put $100,000 back against taxes, because all that revenue's going in there. That's why this talk about setting up some sort of enterprise fund for the transfer station. Somehow, whoever's talking about that needs to find $100,000 for our revenue picture, or we're going backwards as far as our taxes are concerned. I think we haven't voted on the warrant articles yet, so you've got $175,000 package, so $125,000 would make you happy, but maybe we won't be able to get there.
Yeah, it's just, information I'm putting out there. And we shouldn't be in the business of generating revenue up there, but we could generate revenue if we started charging Wayne, and that's just one thing that the scales will do for us. Is I think the scales, we're looking at that as $100,000 cost. This year, it's always going to be 30% more than that. Every year that we put it off, it's already doubled in cost in the 7 years.
Yeah.
And I think that it would more than pay for itself. That's just that one thing, you know.
But that's another discussion. We're not gonna talk about scales this year. So I don't think it's gonna, I mean, we had $1.2 million in warrant articles last year. Somehow we're a little over that this year, and it doesn't include a scale. So unless we wanna have some kind of major increase in tax revenue, we have to stay somewhere around where we were before. We're already looking at, I think, a little over 9% on our operating budget. Not yours, but overall. So we have to be a little bit careful.
The way that the CIP committee wrote it up, your requests, they put in order of, but I don't see a number 1, I see a number 2, I see a number 3, 4, 5. Can I assume that the number 1 is the loader or backhoe? Bigger backhoe?
Well, see, there's the confusion right there. With some people are talking backhoe, some people are talking loader. I've made clear this machine here is the machine I'm looking for. I did put in a second proposal.
Is that a loader?
Yeah, I put in a second bid package for a backhoe, but that was just comparison, money. Problem is, if we're going to replace our existing backhoe with a new existing backhoe, we're still going to be underpowered, we're still going to be too light for what we want to do.
You're gonna replace the backhoe you have now with this loader. That's your plan.
My plan is to keep the backhoe
I know,
and
but let's
replace
think about trading the
replace
backhoe
it
in.
for, well, we would not get,
They can't crush things in bins with a
Yeah.
loader.
we wouldn't get a lot of, I mean, we might get 20 grand for it.
Yeah. Well, there's the 20 grand I'm trying to scour up here.
Right, but that 20,000 was worth much more to us by having it than is giving it to them and having them sell it for 35,000.
That backhoe is a useful piece of equipment just by having that hole in the back.
Correct, absolutely. And if we don't have an excavator, I mean, we need that to crush. Unless we had 5 crushers, which we don't. But that machine is what we use to move stuff from container to container.
So you wanna keep the backhoe and you wanna add the loader to your arsenal.
Correct. See, I want to add the loader to for hours.
We're talking a loader,
Right.
Waltz, Michigan, for example, a loader,
Yeah,
which can't crush the seed,
well,
but it can, not the way it's set up now.
no,
But it can take containers out
right.
and move them around much easier than the backhoe.
Plus it can
I was just trying to find 20 grand.
I understand.
push the
You
brush in the
could-
ground.
You could push snow, you could do
Push
anything.
snow, I mean,
Right.
it would,
Vehicles out of the way,
we
the
could do
trailers,
what we want.
the swap shop.
I've tried to make it clear that it's available for the town too,
Yes,
so.
but that's not particularly, doesn't set that well with me. I'd rather have your boys run it,
Well, we would run it.
town employees.
I would make it clear that if the backhoe went, one of our guys went with it.
Okay,
Just because you ran the
Yeah.
problem with 5, 6, 7 people running pieces of equipment. Oh, I can move that, I can.
Yeah, but that presents its own set of problems. Now you're short staffing yourself, and, you know, a day here and a day there is,
But we don't need to.
it's a whole other
Okay,
stuff.
so
Yeah,
Chris is looking for $150,000 or $125,000.
it should be on top of that money that we have, and it would,
It would go there, that's the only.
So CIP's recommended $100,000, you're saying you want 125.
that would bring us up to 175, it would still be a couple bucks short, but we could probably,
We haven't worked the dealer yet.
and
We haven't shopped it too.
I shopped it around, and, but this was the best vehicle I thought for our use, but I can go back up and rebid with
Yeah.
we-
so we need to-
Matsu.
We need to shop it, and we need to put the right amount of money in.
I mean, I might get some kind of deal on a state bid, with like a John Deere.
Well, you've got a week to find out, alright?
get after it. All right,
I mean, I'll support your recommendation,
Yeah, I just saw
but I wanna
it.
make sure that the money's right, because I don't wanna underfund it. I mean,
Yeah, I'll find,
just to say that you're gonna be, you know, $8,000 short, it's not gonna fly.
I'll go up and get some competitive bids off of this one, and apples to apples, and see where I had John Deere and Cat before, but there's many more out there that I can.
Yeah, look at
Case,
Hitachi.
Yeah.
Michigan. They're still in business? Oh, yes.
Good.
still,
I don't know if they're still in business.
Just don't buy a Yumbo.
Okay.
Saying, you know, to other,
Right. How about you go home and have dinner?
what time is it? Yeah, okay.
20 minutes to 7.
Thank you, gentlemen, appreciate it.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Before Chris leaves, do you want to address, the memo that was in the,
We've all read it.
okay,
We're all set with it.
all right.
Yeah. I think it was resolved.
Yes,
to my
please, thank you.
satisfaction.
It's 3 years.
I mean, we don't need to take any action on it.
No, nothing. Let it be.
Yeah, we can restate our policies next time. Put it right around.
Okay, so next up, signature file. I have in my hands the cover sheet for the personnel policy. I personally am ready to sign that cover sheet. Is anyone else ready?
I think we've done a good job on that. The last polishing items, I think Audrey's put together. So I'm ready.
Okay, the only thing, and I hate to be that guy,
Never
But
mind.
you are that.
You are that guy.
the only thing
Put this off till next
that
time.
no, I don't mind signing it. I just wanna make sure that it's on the record, that we can amend this
Oh,
at any time.
of course.
Because I'm looking at this, I was gonna get into it in my selectmen's report, but I was confronted by an employee about our proposed change from a 1 week to a 2 week payroll.
Oh, yes, I'm well aware of that.
And I'm sure that, section 4, period 2, payday in this, manual is gonna be brought up when that comes up. And that says they're gonna get the pay the week after their 200 hours, and the Tuesday after. So I just wanna make sure everybody's clear that we can amend this
Absolutely.
anytime.
The
We don't have to
personnel
get-
policies has been amended over the years many times.
you know,
It's,
Yeah.
it's as second to the last page, there's a list of amendments.
Okay.
Right.
Just there's people watching on television according to Cammy.
And
I'm going to make a motion that we assign the cover sheet and implement the revised, amended, and updated personnel policy.
I will second.
Any further discussion?
No, this will, the only other part of the discussion is this is gonna get distributed how? Each employee has to get a copy of this.
Right, so, yeah, we'll print them and send them with their supervisors.
Okay.
The supervisor has to sign off on the received page.
All right.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm signing.
So we don't have to sign this copy that was in.
No, this will be the official cover sheet.
Okay.
Oh, look, Chief Segura. We can suspend activity on the signature file once it's signed, and we'll have the chief give his report. I'm gonna make a very editorial comment. It's nice to see you in your regular clothing, Jane.
Fortunately, I had to go to a medical appointment, that's why I was late.
All right, it's a pleasant change, let's put it that way. Thanks, chief.
It's a virtue.
Something's a goal. We completed most of our training for the year, or it's completed our training for the year, obviously, and I turned in our reports to the state. Obviously, some areas are down. We also had fewer hours than we had the prior year, and that just kind of
Thanks.
I only have one copy of that, so if you, well, I know what that is, it's year-to-year comparison, so you see the
Okay.
2 years, one's 2022, one's 2023.
Yep, got it.
So, we've got the 2023 is down, they're gonna start upfitting when they can, otherwise it would have been March if we just had a date to set it, so it's down there. The expedition will be going down this week to get stripped. Probably early next week is when they'll finish that.
Mhm.
And then we can get the striping off it and get rid of that. And so that'll be out of our way too. I've noticed, this is the way of plowing, I see. So, the keys were here, so we could have moved it if we had somebody here, but I'll get somebody to move it tomorrow. Let's see, and so that should, like I said, and the 2022 tower is back, everything's back in that, except for the radar, we don't know when that's getting done, fixed, that broken on that one. We do have a conditional offer out to an applicant, I think I've started mentioning it before, that we had somebody apply, he did pass the physical test, we had a conversation with him, seems like a pretty good young man. We'll see how it goes. He's uncertified, so that means he would have to go to the academy, and that'd be like in May before he could do that. And that's probably the biggest things that are cooking there. I didn't know if you wanted, wanted to pass that around too. It's kind of where we're at with getting our cyber training done.
Uh-huh.
It did reset to 0, because when I went in, I started all over again for the new year. I know. And so we've had employees complain it's the same training over and over every year.
Well, yeah. Well, some of it
That may
wasn't.
be. Doesn't hurt to refresh, review. And there may come changes that they're not aware of at any point in time.
There was
There
was one set that reset, but anyway, that was one set that reset, but they all had like a year expiration date on them anyways.
I see.
So anyway, that's pretty much where we're at. The vehicles, I gave you an update on that. The person, that's trying I know what I've been busy on is getting end of year paperwork done, and I have a couple people that are, one person in particular that's outside the department who's consuming a lot of my time with phone calls and arguments, and finally just have basically started ignoring his emails and just dealing with it.
Yes. Let's just say that I personally am aware of it.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. He mentioned that.
Yeah.
Well, not by name, but I knew what he meant.
Yes. And guess what? I think you're gonna deal with it just fine.
Well, I'm trying to be understanding of his situation, but he
Yeah.
needs to finish his paperwork for the court, not call me and spend hours arguing with me.
True. It's just using up your valuable time.
Yeah. It's out of my hands at this point. I can't do what he wants, so. Anyway,
That should be enough.
it should be. Other than that, that's pretty much where I'm at with stuff right now.
Anything else for the chief? I'm sure Chip has something.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna interview somebody, I guess, for the job. I mean, right now, I'm just looking at your numbers. You're averaging 2.3 traffic stops per week for the whole department.
Mhm.
That's less than one per officer.
Mhm.
You're averaging 5.4, go all the way down to felonies, 5.4 actions a week. That's one a day. I mean, we really need to look at those numbers. I mean, all of the other ancillary stuff that you tell us about is fine, and we enjoy that, and the training and everything else. But I get complaints daily on speed. Daily.
Well,
And you're talking 120 stops, one per day, less than one per day, 2.3 per week. I mean, that's just, I can't defend it, chief, I just can't. We need to prioritize, and maybe it's a time management thing, I have no idea. You know, maybe these people are talking about 7 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock at night, but 2.3 a week is not enough.
did you look at the year to year?
I'm looking at it, I don't care
No.
what you did last year, you did less last year. What? Defend it. Tell me that's
Part-
enough
part is-
stops.
What?
Tell me that's enough stops.
I didn't say it was enough.
How are you gonna fix it?
Well, one, get another person, that'll help. Two, some things I can't say because it's a public meeting, but did you see the evaluations?
I haven't yet.
I haven't yet
We
either.
haven't gotten this.
No, I turned them
Look
in.
forward to it.
Well,
I
you
didn't
asked
think
if
I
I'd
was
gotten them.
allowed to have the officers' evaluations open, you gave me them in sealed envelopes.
Well, I did that 'cause I was leaving it in your box outside, so
Okay.
nobody did it, but I had to turn them into the selectmen, so.
Okay, they'll have them in the next folder.
Okay.
I haven't heard a defense yet.
Do we need to go into non-public?
What are we doing? Do we need to
I
go,
think-
no,
I think you just-
non-public? I don't know.
I'll leave that up to you, maybe you wanna look at it after you see the evaluation.
Alright,
I'd like to see the evaluations before I make any decisions
And
or
that
further discussions.
year to year, I think
Right.
is kind of, I know you didn't, I don't know if anybody said yes.
It's been passed around,
Okay,
came back to me,
okay,
uh,
well,
but, yeah, we'll see the
Yeah.
evaluations, let's do that first.
that's fine.
Yeah.
I just,
Let's
you know,
not
it's on the
Give
table.
too
I'm not
much to
gonna,
you.
I can't let it not be talked about because I have to face it, and I'm
Mhm.
not out there in a cruiser picking people up. I don't have the ability or the skills to do your job,
mhm.
but I do have the ability and skills to field complaints about it. So I'm looking for some defense, that's all.
The numbers could be higher, put it that way.
Absolutely. I mean,
But I also, part of the difference is, we also have 3 this year versus 4 last year, for at least part of the year last year. I'm not saying it's good numbers, but I'm just saying we have anyway, after you see the evaluations.
We can discuss it further after that. Should we feel the need?
Sounds good to me.
I think that might provide some,
Then let's do a non-public for the evaluations the next time the chief comes in, and we'll chop that.
After we've
that
seen,
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
that, I don't know if that should be part of that
Well, it
discussion.
should- I didn't look at it completely, but I'm sure it's gotta be a non-public again. I don't know. Put it
Yeah,
on
this,
record.
these papers definitely stay non-public.
Yeah.
Although Wolfboro seems to put them up public. I don't know that it's appropriate, I don't know. That's not my call. Puts those up, they do.
We're not
I'm
Wolfboro.
sure they do, but the next time I take the lead from Wolfboro, it's gonna be probably the last day I work.
Well,
here.
I don't, I share your concerns.
Our, my theory is, see what Wolfboro does and don't do that.
Well, I don't know about all of that, but,
No, there's a lot of it.
anyway,
Okay,
that's
so-
kinda related to that, I think.
All right,
So, anything more for the chief?
No.
I'm good.
All right,
I'm good, thanks.
have a good night.
Thank you, sir.
One of the issues I've got right now with my cruiser, it has no radar in it, so it's gonna be tough to
No,
stop
that's a
speeding.
little tough.
One of those guns.
No, we don't have one of those. And now they're kinda like built in, so if your radar's gone, you can't just grab one out of it. The old days, we used to have them, hang them on the window,
Mhm.
the ones that would beam in the back of your head and supposedly give you brain cancer, I don't know, but they used to hang on the window, and then you could just pull them out, cause they just mounted with suction cups, right? Now they're wired in and stuff, so once it's gone, I don't have one right now for my the cruiser I typically drive, so kinda putting a damper on my efforts.
Okay,
All right,
And they have no idea how long it'll take to get back,
of
unfortunately.
course. Thank you, chief.
Yeah.
All right, back to the signature file. Next up, we have an appointment for Betty Gunnard to fill the vacancy left by Gordon Hunt in the
I'll move
library
that
trustee.
appointment.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then we have a pair of catastrophic leave donation forms, and we had talked about this, I believe, at our last meeting. And we have one here for a total of 145.446 hours. I'm not gonna mention the names. And we have one for 103 hours. I'd make a motion that we sign both of these.
Second for discussion.
Go right ahead,
I think those hours need to be converted to dollars.
all right? So, in that case, give these back to Audrey, who can convert these to dollars.
Well, it goes back to your personnel policy,
Yes?
and I think, I've been reflecting on it, and if you convert them to dollars, you might be in a liability, because if you have dollars at a lower paid person or dollars at a higher paid, I haven't quite figured it out.
If
but
you've got somebody that makes, I'm just throwing out numbers for an
say
example.
40 an hour.
$40 an hour, and he donates 100 hours, do the math,
Right.
and then you have somebody that makes $15 an hour that wants to draw on it, they have to draw on dollars, not hours.
Right, so that person would draw $15 an
And
hour.
I don't know that we'd be avoiding liability by leaving it in hours. It actually just makes it cloudier. I mean, we're establishing a liability just by doing it, but.
Right, I'll make a motion to have Audrey convert these numbers to dollars.
Second.
Any further discussion?
No,
I don't know if it matters, right?
it does. Because,
No, for you to approve it, so if you're
Oh.
approving the dollars versus the hours,
we could approve, yeah, we don't have
and
to wait,
then I can give you a report next time, this is what's in your catastrophic account.
yeah.
But I don't think the report I have is in dollars, so I already have a bank with no dollars in it.
I'd suggest that we vote on the motion that you just made, and then we'll make another motion on this. Cause
There's two motions on the table right now.
the workers are gonna donate hours,
Yes.
so we need to accept the hours that they're donating. And then
Reconcile the account.
we need to enrich the catastrophic leave account by the dollar value of those hours.
I would agree with that.
But that's another motion.
All right, so if I withdraw my initial motion, we can vote on what you just spoke of, which is to accept these hours,
Right,
which can later be converted into dollars.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Good, I'm signing. It's very generous of these folks to donate this time.
Right, we'd be, to a certain extent, Audrey's right in that we'd end up having to 1099 these employees for the value of what they've donated. We don't really wanna do that,
And you think of that,
yeah. No, they're donating to a communal bank,
yeah.
and they may be the recipient from that bank as well, so. They haven't given us money.
Okay, so next up being correspondence. We have a certificate. Home base recognizes and thanks the Tufton Borough Police Department for the participation and support of the 9th annual Home Base No Shave campaign. That's when our officers
Notice that.
grew their beards. We have the library statistics report, and we have a standard dredge and fill application from the Wetlands Bureau that's been passed on to us through the Conservation Commission. Reading for anybody that would like it. Moving on, we have our town administrator and selectmen's update. Town administrator, come on down.
Okay, you have two more, budgets in your packet.
Yes.
So we figured out after the last meeting, and you have a revised personnel spreadsheet, in the 2023 budget, there was only Social Security, and Tammy and I figured out a couple people, and it should have included Medicare as well. Right, we went through a couple weeks worth of what we did. So, the budget you approved on 12/26 for personnel administration is low by approximately 30,000.
That was 26.
Yeah, 25. So I redid that sheet, but I also did it, with Chris's numbers. I didn't have his in there before. So
Rule?
yes. So now that I have everyone, all the departments' recommendations and updates, and what you just, the adjustments to his budget that you just did, the Social Security and Medicare line would be $90,000.
90,
Yep,
even?
yep. You already put them away?
I did,
I had them clipped to your front.
So we're, which budget are you on, what's the number?
4155,
Yeah.
and it'll be Social Security and Medicare.
Okay. So, Social Security is gonna be 90,000,
Yes.
okay. And that includes.
So you should
Medicare.
have this one, Chip. I gave you an updated one.
Did you?
Yeah. I had it clipped to the front of your budget book.
Oh my gosh, okay. And your note here, minus 1,200,
Yeah, that's the difference, in Chris not hiring someone and going back to the,
okay, so 811, 054.
yes.
I'm gonna make a motion that we approve personal administration for $811,054.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Okay, and the last and final budget is 4619.1, other conservation.
Let's get the milfoil on.
Yeah, and I haven't reconciled this year's milfoil, but we would do that through the trust. From the trustees of the trust fund, we wouldn't do it in the budget, so I'm recommending you leave that at 5,000.
So we did have it in the budget last year, right?
You have 5,000, I kept the
No, I
budget.
know, but
Yeah.
we've overspent that budget this year, right?
That's what I haven't reconciled,
Okay.
because,
And you think that we should keep the milfoil money that we get from the trustees off budget?
yes,
And how are we gonna,
so when we discuss the warrant articles, I'll have them typed up, that trust fund would be adjusted based on this year's reconciliation.
okay, we have to, when we spend money, it has to come from one of two places.
Yes,
Either a budget or a warrant article. So where's the milfoil money coming from? It's coming from the trustees.
so it would be a warrant article,
So
yeah,
after,
we'd
okay,
build it into the warrant
all
article.
right, I got it now.
I think you did build in a little bit, but.
Yeah, but I don't think we knew the right
No.
number. Okay.
No.
So we'd be doing a warrant article as opposed to overspending the
Right.
operating budget.
Makes good sense.
I like it.
Presumably the voters will want to poison milfoil.
Or pluck it out by the root.
I think they're giving that up, I think they're just poisoning now, at least in Tuftonboro.
There are
All right,
always bad.
that covers that. Next.
Well, you have to accept that budget. You have to
Well,
vote
I
on
do.
it.
Motion to accept this 4619, other conservation, the bottom number here says $7,500.
So moved.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Who seconded?
You do.
Nobody.
Hmm?
He moved it.
I moved it.
Oh, I thought I said I made the motion.
made
You
the
did.
motion.
Oh,
Close enough.
So you're gonna second it.
So,
sure. Whatever,
plus we had already accepted it anyway.
however you need to do it.
Okay.
Okay, today I met with the town manager in Wolfboro, and I explained that I haven't been able to find any written agreements with the town of Wolfboro on the recreation, and that leads to some,
Angst?
consternation, yeah, of, you know, what should we be paying, and are we getting the bang for our buck, et cetera. And so I am going to send them a recommended agreement that it be based on the number of people, you know, and the variant plus an administrative fee. Because they have to go through, and that's not something they don't just spit out.
Sure.
So,
Is that gonna be a fixed administrative fee or floating?
a percentage of how many people, so,
Okay.
So how do we budget something like that, if I might ask you, if we never really know year to year who's gonna be doing what? That's I'm putting that before the board and Audrey.
right, so we know this year it was 13,000, and so if we took that number plus an administrative fee, last year it was closer to 9. So then that budget would go into the undesignated, so I would say for next year, keep your budget at like 16, and he's gonna bring it to his board of selectmen tomorrow. And, you know, they could come back to us and say
Something
something different.
Right.
You know, but if you have something in writing, that's helpful, and it's not something, I'm not recommending a flat amount that escalates, it's still based on usage. we talked about the, beach closure, that was petition warrant article, they have their hands tied. You can still use the beach, you just can't park there.
Well,
See, their hands are not tied.
No, they
I
aren't.
totally disagree with that. Because the selectmen have the power to present their own warrant article to include the town of Tuftonboro in the parking privileges. That article that passed was done by the voters. That was a petition warrant article. There's no reason why the selectmen can't put forward their own warrant article to allow Tuftonboro to be part of it.
I can put that in my cover letter to him.
and I think,
And I asked him that. Do you have a copy of the letter that we sent
Yeah,
last year?
yeah,
Okay.
With no response.
yeah.
well, they're busy. How hard is it gonna be to take that Wolfboro line out of the Parks and Rec? And, I mean, I think logically it needs to be a warrant article. At least 1 year, I don't think it's ever been a warrant article. But, and then create another line if we have to in the budget, but just to take it out of the Parks and Rec budget. To,
What I found with that was in some of the much older town reports that didn't line everything out the way we have in our budget, for example, it just said town of Wolfboro and there was a number.
right,
But it didn't, it wasn't in this particular, it's in another breakdown, one of the MS's. And it never really did,
yeah, it's sort of like patriotic purposes.
yeah,
That's a one-line budget, and we spend it every year.
yep.
I think Wolfboro should be a one-line budget that we
I
just,
don't, yeah, we might wanna investigate how we could do that for another year.
So you don't wanna do it for 2024, or you do?
I'd love to, but
Well, I think we're beyond taking it out for 2024, but I think for 2025 we should,
we have a budget hearing now.
well, push it.
I'm gonna
Recreation
push it until
tomorrow?
we can't.
You wanna do Parks and Rec, we have to do a rework of that to take that money out.
Right.
So I can't recall where budget committee is, if they've approved Parks and Rec yet, or if that's tomorrow night.
Well, let's find out tonight.
I don't know, but you can,
Yeah,
they can revisit it just as much as we can.
yeah,
And actually, if they haven't, they can reduce that budget by that amount of money.
and move it.
And we can just create another budget. With that up to the-
Right. And to answer your question about how we budget it, I think we just do like we do with a bunch of other budgets, just take the previous year and base it on that and.
So we're always a year behind in ours.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Parks and Recreation was approved,
Okay,
By the budget committee?
yes.
Yeah, that's
Right.
it.
so 2025, I guess.
Well, you could bring it up tomorrow night.
I'll bring it up.
Because they're just as eager to remove that as you are. Or should I say we are, I think
Some
the
of
budget
them.
committee wants
I
to.
don't know about that.
Yeah, they can revisit
Maybe.
it.
Remove it from the Parks and Rec
Yeah.
budget, is
They
that?
can't do a one item removal, they can take that amount of money off the bottom line, with the understanding that that's what
Right.
we're doing. So,
I'll let you present that to them if you'd like. Since you're the representative, we'll be there though to help you out,
yeah,
or I will anyway. I can't speak for Bob, but he's pretty regular.
Okay, I'm working on lots of year-end things. I'm gonna do the employee tax forms, 1099s. UniSmart's been really good helping me figure out the software to roll some things over. It's a learning curve, right, Kim?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Yeah, it is. Let's see, I did a webinar on reporting the retirees through New Hampshire retirement system. Cammie has started to learn how to do the monthly reporting of the retirement system. So that's good news. As you can see, Rebecca's not here. She gave her notice. She just has too much personally on her plate to help us. A reminder that it's a holiday on the 15th, and your next meeting's gonna be at election, and the auditors are gonna be here January 31st.
Is that when you're hoping to close out 2023?
We should be in pretty good shape, I imagine most of the costs will be in. But
What happens if you close it out and things come in?
this is a preliminary audit, it's not, the final audit. So I'm actually expecting them to give me some advice on, I don't wanna say move things, but how to recognize like some of the state milfoil money against the expense. How to do that correctly in the accounting world. So,
Yeah, we should have a page, like you generally have for those off-budget numbers. I mean, we had one for the various federal grants that we've gotten and how we spent those down. We should probably get a report on that money at some point.
right, I printed out all of the chart of accounts, so I could try to understand. I'm gonna say what's above the line and what's below the line.
Right.
Because it's a learning curve for me as well.
Okay, now, while we're all right here and we have Audrey, at least 3 of us have been advised that one and possibly more people would be very unhappy to be paid every 2 weeks rather than weekly. My question to you, Audrey, is how much time, and this will be rough, but does it take to do just payroll without all the other checks? Is it an hour, is it 2 hours?
I would say a morning, it would still take us 3 to 4 hours.
To do 20 checks or whatever it may be. Because you have to figure everything, Medicare, Social Security, all that has to be figured as well.
Well, most of it's automatic, but if their salary, you have to go in and adjust their benefits, their vacation time, if they're taking vacation time. If it's the week that all the fire department people,
All the,
right,
the on-call
so,
members,
yeah,
yep, yep,
you know, I'm kinda averaging,
okay,
you know,
yep. That's,
uploading it to the bank, doing the direct deposit.
well, that's
Get you
for my benefit, but I'm sure it helps the other guys too.
the filings.
Yep.
The retirement system,
Oh, yes,
Social
there's a lot to it,
Security,
okay.
Medicare.
So, as I told one of the employees when I was approached, before I would even consider recommending it to the Board of Selectmen, I would provide you with the pros and cons.
And I can't, I'm sure with a little bit of creative thought, we could figure it out so that people weren't missing 2 weeks of pay. There's no reason that can't happen.
Correct.
So
Right.
instead of getting 1 week's pay this week, they get 2 weeks pay and then
Right.
they miss next week. But it's not
Yeah.
starting it as a negative and moving forward.
Right,
I think
and
we
as
can
I
start with positive.
explained to that person is, you know, my purpose isn't coming in to upset the apple cart and change just because things have been that weekly forever, but, it would have some sound reasons behind it with, this is how many hours I think we can recoup, and this is what we could do in that time,
Right.
so,
All right, so that was part of my selectmen's update.
okay.
But we've discussed it, we've heard some of Audrey's reasons that we might implement it. It's not been implemented yet. Let's, everybody,
Thank you.
hold on. Not to panic yet, but I thought it was a good idea to discuss that and let everybody know that, just hang on.
Yeah, and I much prefer any of the employees just come see me directly and talk to me directly because, you know, some of the excitement I think caused by the game of passing on the
Oh.
news and passing on the
Right.
news. Right, we've all done that around a campfire.
Well, I'm gonna continue with my selectmen's update then. I did have a fellow come to me, had given a sizable contribution to Parks and Rec Department and needed official paperwork from the town so that he can claim it on his taxes. I went through channels and we got that straightened out. Everything's good. That's pretty much been my duties and activities in between the meetings.
My end, we had planning board had a public hearing last Thursday on proposed zoning amendments, which were all minor. Mostly we're just cleaning up the zoning amendments to keep up with RSA's. One that did spark a little bit of controversy was the fact that we are now going to be officially, if this passes voters, we're going to be officially allowing ancillary. That's not the right word. I'm at a loss for the word, but ancillary structures or expansion of dwellings to include a secondary dwelling. But one of the key words, key statements that caused some controversy was that the primary residence shall be owner occupied. And the question was, well, why does it have to be owner occupied? What if a person owns a piece of property, and because we allow a second residence, why does it have to be owner occupied? Why can't we just do otherwise? And well, I pushed the chair of our planning board to come up with the answer, because it's a fair and reasonable question, and we need to have that question answered. Simple as that.
Well, we certainly have taxpayers with multi-million-dollar homes that are only here a very short time during the year. And what defines occupancy?
6 years in one day. 6 months in one day.
Yeah, and that's not going to happen.
No.
And they're not going to be very happy.
No, but if they have another structure or another attachment that they want to rent out.
They can't do it because they're not owner occupied. It's not here 6 months in one day.
Correct. And the state law says that we may choose to do it that way. So just the fact that we chose to do it that way, the voter deserves an answer.
Well, I think if the state would go out the facts and do something about rooms and meals vis-a-vis Airbnb, I'd be a lot happier with letting anybody do whatever they want on their two properties. But I'm not, because all of the services that we provide and all of the costs that are incurred by the town residents has no compensation, you know. So, do you want to end up with, I don't know, half a dozen or 50 Airbnbs based on this new zoning scheme? I'm not interested in that, but I'd be okay with it if there was a tax revenue involved. But, and we don't get to tax differently. You know, residential is residential is residential. I guess waste injection systems are waste injection systems or current use property. Nothing gets taxed. So hopefully, I didn't get an answer from Cammie about the Union Wharf grant questions and whether or not that has been satisfied.
Not yet.
But I'll be in tomorrow morning anyway to look at my budget stuff, so I'll check with legal on that.
Well, these proposed zoning amendments should be available. Susan should have.
They're gonna vote on, you know, it'd be nice, not to belabor it, but it'd be nice if the planning board wrote the zoning amendments for the ballot and fleshed out what they were actually doing.
They have.
A lot of times
There's a narrative for each one.
yeah, that's good.
And that'll be in the town report, which we'll
Well,
get
it'll be
before
on
we
the
vote.
ballot.
And
And I just said the narrative will be in the town report. Is it going to be on the ballot as well?
no, it's a separate sheet, but
Okay.
it's going to be handed out at the
All right.
election.
So we're not gonna vote on these zoning ordinance amendments.
We're not. The voter is.
The voters are, I'm not
Yes.
talking about the select.
No, the voter is.
So
And
it'll be on the ballot.
there's a sample ballot already printed up, and there's a separate sheet that's got the narrative.
Anything else for updates? Any other business?
Oh,
Oh,
when is the budget, hearing? Do we know what day that is? February something?
Yes, February something.
I'm just wondering if we, you know, we haven't voted on warrant articles yet. The next time we meet is the 23rd. Is the budget committee gonna have time enough to consider those and vote on them?
I'm hoping to give them the drafts tomorrow, but I think they have 3 more meetings before February.
Okay,
They have 2 more meetings in January.
so they're gonna have the text.
Yeah, it's my goal
Right.
to have a draft tomorrow.
And if necessary, we can throw a work session in
Yeah.
to do whatever
That's the
between
only
now.
reason I stopped you from adjourning, just to clear
I
that.
mean,
Well, we're gonna have a whole day together on the 23rd, if there's any work sessions.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if, depending on when the budget hearing is, I just didn't wanna.
I believe it's February 6th, and the budget committee's meeting on the 9th, the 16th, and the 30th of January.
Okay,
So.
but they'll have the stuff for tomorrow night's meeting if they wanna do anything.
Right.
That's all.
The 23rd, when we're meeting, that'd be a good day to start hammering out some warrant articles.
I think we already started.
Well, we hammered them out, but don't we get,
We haven't voted on anything.
that's
Yeah,
kind of
do
where I'm
it.
going.
Right.
Yeah, massaging the language and,
Thank you.
voting on them.
Right.
Do you, do you normally do a snow day for the budget hearing in the event of snow?
There's always a snow day on the calendar, but I
Okay.
don't
You gotta make
remember
sure that
ever
happens
exercising
tomorrow.
that.
You better ask them.
Yeah. Rod,
Remember, it's usually the day after.
Yeah,
Usually, but
okay.
you never know. We could get into a nasty multi-day event. Not that it's ever happened before.
well, those 6 people that actually come to the budget hearing would be troubled. We could rent a bus, I guess.
All right, if there's no other business for the board, I would recommend a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, ladies, for your efforts.